Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones back with a new video. Reflections on race. Uh, Nikki Haley had made the news for several issues concerning the topic. One where she said, there was the dispute about the cause of the Civil War. She left. It was seen as an issue that she left off slavery. And then it was, and then she was, said, she once said that America was never a racist country, and I'm not here to debate that. But then she went back and talked about how she was made fun of for being the only brown kid in her small South Carolina town. And really what it got me thinking about was really what was like for myself when I moved to South Carolina from New York. Um, I moved to South Carolina when I was 12. I'm 34 now. That was back in 2001. So I moved down here so I can go to a junior high school. I really didn't want to live in New York anymore, and I was gonna be living with my grandparents, and they were both born in 1937, both born in South Carolina. And if I could say that anyone who experienced any semblance of racism, I can say they did. But they didn't really bring they didn't really bring me up in a fashion that they didn't bring me up in a way that made me always look into it. Now they always whenever I always thought it was interesting how whenever something happened, they asked was a black or white who did it, like was it a crime, or they'd be watching Wheel of Fortune, and they would root for the black contestants. And I always thought I thought it was weird, but I know growing up, I figured, it really wasn't anything it wasn't really anything to really throw a fuss about. But as far as my own personal experience, everything's been pretty good. Everything's been pretty good here. I knew when I was gonna be moving here at a young age, I was gonna be exposed to Southern culture. I mentioned in videos before. One of the things I was excited about was, oh man, I'm gonna be living in the South. I'm gonna learn how to hunt. I want to see guys carrying guns on their hips. And I always said that I felt gypped out because cause all I saw were dudes, was people carrying cell phones on their hips, and practically it's a big part. It's a big part of why I open carry. Uh, you know, but I was, but I came in. I came down to this new culture with a, an open mind. Uh, I didn't want to, and one thing I didn't want to, I didn't want to do the easy thing of assuming that every white person that I come in contact with a southern accent was gonna be racist, was something as silly as that. I mean, if there were any comment, there were the few comments I did hear, like name calling. I heard, it was ribbing amongst teenagers. Someone called you a name, you called something back, and it was like basically it was basically to see if you were made of some tougher stuff. Were you gonna were you gonna fold and complain, about being called this, that, and the other, or which in my case it rarely ever happened. If anything, I received more comments about how being black but acting the way I act. Like when I told people I was from New York, a lot of people thought New York like upstate. I'm like, no, I'm from Brooklyn. Which yeah, and I used to tell people, say, yeah, I know it's kind of strange to hear that. Going by the way I dressed, the way I spoke, just my mannerisms, my demeanor. You would never think I was from Brooklyn, New York, but yeah, from Brooklyn, Burl Avenue, Maryland Navy. I live close to Fort Greene. That's where I grew up. Uh, but so moving down to South Carolina, it wasn't. It was a bit of a culture shock. One thing I always said was it was that the people were very nice. People were very polite across the board. No matter what you look like. Uh, something I learned and understood about I guess the white people that are around. They respected hard work. They didn't like excuses. Which was good for me because I always had a hard time rationalizing mistakes that I made. I always figured I had to come to terms with that. I did something, whether it be with good intentions or bad intentions, or I made a mistake because of something I did or didn't do. So I was always eager to really come up with an excuse for things. Uh, and like I said, I was cool with I was cool with a lot of white people I came in contact with. The group of friends I had, we were a mixed bag. You know, I had a couple of Florida guys, Florida friends from Florida who I went to school, who also went to school with me. Um, friends from out of the country. From whether it be Guatemala or I think it was one kid who was from I think it was Colombia. He was an exchange student. It's just a bunch of different people getting together, in school getting together. We would crack jokes. I always say I grew up in a time when these racial jokes were just they were abundant. They were funny, and people knew that if you said certain things, it wasn't malicious. You were cracking jokes. You were doing the dirty, doing the dozens, or just like talking smack. And all you had to do was just be quick, have quick wit, deliver the same, throw the same bars back at them, and it kept it rolling. Um, so I can't really say that I had a hard time growing up in the South, as a young black male. It was cool. It still is cool. I mean, it had to be for me to be in my 30s, still wanting to live here. I always tell people that one of the best things I've ever done was move from New York to South Carolina. I like the culture, I like the people here, I like the gun laws here. They're getting better too. Uh, got my fingers crossed for constitutional carry. But I always thought it was kind of to me it always felt strange and especially when you see someone who's successful. Like I got my own opinions about Nikki Haley, but I would say that she is successful in the sense that she's known. I would say she's known worldwide, um, especially for what she's accomplished. But to almost like but to have this to drudge up these things that happened in the past, things concerning race. It always seemed like they're meant to overshadow whatever accomplishments you've achieved. Despite that, I always figured, I always thought it'd be better to talk about how, yeah, I mean, there were these things that happened in the past, but they didn't stop me from being the person I am today. Maybe because that's how I am, and I'm not trying to pander to people, on issues of race. Like I said, I received anytime I received comments, really it was about people who didn't believe me that I was from Brooklyn. That was from a project. Uh, And I always said that I never really took it. I didn't take it to heart. I understood. Yeah, I'm a different kid. I'm not your typical Negro teenager. um, and so I just rolled with it. And I gotta say that it's never really been a stumbling block for me. I can't really say that it's been a hindrance for me in the South, whether it be with meeting new people, getting work, moving ahead in life. I'd say it's always been my attitude. Um, I've always had a good attitude, and a stubbornness to want to do much better than I did the day before. And I like to say those are some of the things that have allowed me to have some accomplishments throughout my days here in South Carolina. I think that's something can be done by anybody, no matter where you live, no matter what you look like. Um, because I just think it's just too, I just think it's far too easy to narrow down to one particular aspect of yourself as to how you think people are going to judge you. When there are various things that people can judge you on. So that's just wanted to talk about that. I always thought it was, like I said, I always thought it was interesting when people who are accomplished, whether it be in sports or in politics, and academia, things like that. They've accomplished so much, but they always seem to have like this chip on their shoulders about this struggle they've been through, and but they talk about it. They talk about it as if they never overcame, as if they didn't overcome it. like how'd you achieve these things without overcoming, overcoming whatever challenges you faced in the past. But that's all I want to talk about. If you like this video, please share your thoughts, leave a comment in the comment section, like, share, and subscribe. If you want to help out with the channel, go to my homepage, look for the PayPal link and the Cash App link. All donation amounts are appreciated. Any gripes, complaints about this video, submit PM. I'll see if I can do to address them. But that's my video. Just matters. Just some matters on race relations. Living in the South. I'm Edward Jones. You guys take care. Be safe. Stay strapped. And God bless.